Sky and the rest waiting to duke it out for the stage winner, maybe the race lead. Whatever happens here, we'll have a new leader. Danny van Poppel dropped, still hanging on though. Alexander Kristoff, John Degenkolb, several other riders. It's miserable, isn't it, where we're going?
Well, the weather is really starting to close in, but as the weather closes in, the pace starts to increase. This is where the road starts to ramp up. Well, in a couple of kilometres' time, it ramps up. We're on this section of 5.5%. So some real power being applied on the front by Katusha in the form of Kuznetsov.
Here goes Tarame. Here goes Rein Tarame. Tarame then decided to launch it early. 4.8 kilometres to go. And Rein Tarame is off, being followed by Gianni Moscon and the rest of the Sky team.
Well, Gianni Moscon on his wheel. Lars Petter Nordhaug also there, as well as Sebastian Enau. All of the Team Sky climbers following Rein Tarame. Meanwhile, the Danish champion goes south, and Tarame attacking very early on this climb, Rob, really forcing the pace. Well, still a long way to go.
He is the man for Katusha, but he's made the first selection. Maybe he's going to decide to just try and whittle it down a bit. That was Lars Petter Nordhaug thinking about having a go as well. Not probably the optimal time to pan away, because there he is. Lars Petter Nordhaug, it has begun. And Sky with numbers. I wonder if Tarame just opened a can of worms there, because Sky had numbers with which to counter-attack him straight away.
I think it had to happen, because this is too big a group. If you start carrying riders to the finish, more and more riders will start to believe. Those punchy riders will be sitting in the wheels because the gradient isn't particularly steep. They have to start accelerating, trying to break this group up, whittling it down to a manageable size. And I think
Degenkolb dropped this time, pardon me.
Yeah,
Degenkolb gone.
Those sharp picks. I mean, John Degenkolb has done so well to hang on so long, but they need to keep the impetus going. And now we're seeing Enau go on the left-hand side.
Enau attacking this time is being followed by Marco Marcato and Sylvain Chavanel. So Sebastian Enau on the left-hand side, the Colombian, Sergio Enau's cousin. Marco Marcato, the Italian for the Belgian team, Wanty, and it is forcing Rein Tarame to do all the chasing himself.
Well, Tarame trying to bring this group gap. Marcato very animated earlier on in this stage. We know he's got good form. Some real big splits starting to occur now. This is the group several hundred meters down the finishing climb.
Tarame to go again. He's obviously confident here. Obviously supremely confident. Being followed by Chavanel. Has done well to react after giving all of that energy on the first climb. But of course, after an easier day yesterday, it's no surprise that the legs might be a little fresher. However, Sky still with numbers. 4 riders up in this front group.
Well, Sky looking trouble. Also, BMC, Philippe Gilbert is still there. Amel Moynard is moving up the outside as well. He's a rider we haven't talked too much about, but look at Alexander Kristoff.
Fighting to hang on, and well, this could be key for tomorrow. This could be a big key, because if he's still there, still in that group, there are bonus seconds at a sprint up for grabs.
He's just turning a huge gear, using all of his strength, fighting his bike.
He is suffering. He is hurting here, is Alexander Kristoff, as his compatriot Lars Petter Nordhaug from the rival Team Sky is trying to bury him.
Lars Petter Nordhaug's got some daylight, opens it up, turns a huge gear, putting some real torque through the bike, forcing Rein Tarame to chase. But look who's on his wheel. Looks like it's possibly Moscon on his wheel. Rein Tarame looks for help. He hasn't got any. This is exactly what Team Sky need to do to try and open up some gaps. An interesting rider still in the mix there, Rob, is Bjorn Thor Nielsen Holm of Team Joker. Great ride by him, sat in 4th wheel in the light blue.
Kristoff is still there on the back of that group. August Jensen alongside him. Marcato is being distanced. So we've seen several attacks. It is BMC's turn. Moinard is going to launch it this time. Amel Moinard, the Frenchman from BMC, has a go. And he is immediately being chased by Sky. And Bjorn Thor Nielsen is out there chasing him.
It is Sebastian Enau and Bjorn Thor just closing this gap. This is a great ride by the youngster. Goes straight across the gap there.
Well, attack after attack after attack, and it's just not quite steep enough with less than 3 kilometers to go to really shift everybody straight away. Marcato has been spat out of the back, however. Where's Kristoff? Where is he? He's still on the back of this group. Just less than 3 kilometers to go, and Alexander Kristoff He's only losing maybe 1 second here as it stands. He is hanging on. August Jensen says goodbye in the meantime. Sky exchanging attacks with several different teams at the minute.
Well, I tell you what, Alexander Kristoff, whether he holds on or doesn't, what a display of tenacity and strength and the ability to suffer. He really is hungry, wants to try and hang on as long as he can, and it looks like the elastic has finally snapped.
Well, with 2.9 kilometers to go, Kristoff has put in a gargantuan effort, but he's being dropped. I'm sure it's all about limiting losses time for him now, but he has been hurting. He's got a really good poker face normally, but he has been showing mighty amounts of suffering so far up this climb. That's 9 kilometers long. Oh, look at that. In the meantime, his teammate now really has pressure on him to do something, because Katusha have ridden all day, most of the day yesterday as well. And it's Rein Tarame, the only man left.
Well, Sebastian now sits in third wheel. Yam Cycling driving the pace. And then beyond Tor Nielsen Holm of Team Joker sat in second wheel at the moment. And this little group are going clear. Rein Tarame couldn't shut the gap. Sky, of course, will not close it. They've got Inao in that little group, so the riders spreading across the road. BMC need to consider if they need to get into this mix as well.
Set for Marca, struggling off the back, just making sure he's trying to get on there. Oscar Gatto was there. Looks as though Steph Clement is the man doing the damage at the front. And here's Loic Vliegen.
Yeah, Vliegen very aggressive in the finale. Yes, he tried to get away. Vliegen, one of the better climbers in the BMC squad, has gone straight across that gap. Meanwhile, Sepp van Mark looks like he is another rider to be dropped from this gradually diminishing front group.
Sepp van Marke gone then with 2 kilometers to go. It's Clement alongside Sebastian now in there. Moscon still hangs on behind. Vliegen has done really well to get onto the wheel of Sebastian now.
This is a great bit of riding here by Steph Clement, more noted as a time trialist, a former silver medalist in the World Time Trial Championship. Steph Clement showing the climbers, and I think it's Gianni Moscon who's going across this gap.
Getting 2 bodies across. This time Rein Tarame cannot react. And here goes Oscar Gatto. All sorts of surprises on this climb so far.
Well, one of the riders has just been a drop from that group in front. It's actually Loic Vliegen who has been dropped from BMC.
Well, that's not good news for BMC. They've committed lots of resources here as well. Remember, GC likely to be decided on this climb. Problems too for Sky until Gianni Moscon managed to get on there. They have 2 in the front group, and they're suddenly in a supremely strong position.
Well, Gianni Moscon is there. Sebastian Inao is there. The group is being still led by Steph Clement of Yam Cycling. Philippe Gilbert just in the mix.
Martin Elniger still in this group as well. Great position for Sky now, because if this comes back together, they've still got 2 riders in this group as well. And here goes Gianni Moscon.
Gianni Moscon, prodigiously talented rider. He's got a big gap now.
A huge gap, and it's going to be Clement who has to chase this down, because Björn Tore Nielsen Holm is struggling. In the meantime, behind 1.5 kilometers to go, Rein Tarame knows he needs to try and close the gap himself. That's the view up ahead towards Loic Vliegen. It's Gianni Moscon, though, the Italian under-23 champion from last year, one of the most talented young Italians on the planet at the moment, out there riding in his neo-pro year for Sky. Superb in the classics. Second half of his season starts now, and he is going like a train.
Well, this rider has been touted by Team Sky as a rider for the future. He's got an enormous engine, a kilometre to go. 4th in the TT Championships this year, 5th in the Road Championships. This could be his maiden win. He's got 1 rider just behind him, Steph Clement, who's also did a superb ride. Meanwhile, Rein Tarame leads the group behind.
Gianni Moscon then approaching the final kilometre. 22 years of age, Gianni Moscon. Mandatory 2-year deal as the neo-pro there. 600 metres to go. He's approaching now as it levels out a little. He's being chased, though, by Steph Clement. Can Moscon keep it away? Remember, 9 wins in domestic racing last season. Came through the Zalf setup that has produced so many riders. 80 professional riders down the 30-odd years that they have existed. And Gianni Moscon, the latest, his task here to hang on for a maiden win on the road as a professional.
This is a superb ride. He jumped across the gap, so easily. He made it look easy, but now he's fighting his bike, grimacing with the pain. The rider closing the gap behind slowly but surely is Steph Clement, the veteran from Yam Cycling, but it looks like the young Italian may have enough in hand.
It's Gianni Moscon then. Team Sky have ridden well today. They've controlled, they've had numbers up the front, and they're going to take the victory. Gianni Moscon into the final few hundred metres at the top of Korfjellet. He's going to win the stage. He's going to take his first ever professional win. And Gianni Moscon now looks set in Norway to go into the leader's jersey of the Arctic race. And this is the stage that should decide GC. What a ride from him. What a ride from Sky. And if you want to know all about developing young talent, if you want to know about opportunities, come to this race. You've had all sorts of top young riders on this climb, duking it out against a couple of the experienced guys. And it's one of the more unlikely talents. Didn't come here as the main leader in Sky colours, but he's going to celebrate a first professional win. And it's Gianni Moscon, after 4 hours of racing, who takes victory on stage 3 of the Arctic race. And with it, the lead overall.